Safety culture has as much definitional precision as a cloud.
As grasping at smoke.
The only way to create a really good safety culture is to believe in it. It's top down, bottom up. Everyone's got to own it.
The right people and the right culture, and it starts at the top.
Starts right from the top.
I define safety culture as a culture that allows the boss to hear bad news.
There is no stupid question in safety.
It needs to be ingrained into the organisation.
Safety is embedded into our processes and our procedures.
And you've got to actually walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
And that trickles down all the way through.
That we all sort of have each other's backs.
What we want to do is make people think.
Safety first.
They're more than happy to report.
Communication on a regular basis, transparency, openness, being involved.
That healthy sense of unease.
Never kind of rest on your laurels when it comes to safety.
It's really about trust. I can't emphasise that enough.
There's no blame involved.
It's not about blaming people or apportioning blame. It's not about that at all. It's just about continuous improvement, really.
And how can we stop it from happening again?
To assess the risks, manage the risks, know that they're there.
Identifying the risks.
You must deal with risk.
But I think the other thing that's really important in a good safety culture is that you concentrate on why things went right.
Because they go right a lot more than they go wrong.
And we grow on the positive.
And that's obviously key to any safety system.
But it's important to recognise that those elements don't just work in isolation. They link to a very strong just culture.
And what are you going to use to help you understand that you are on downwind?
Crossbar.
Very good. Excellent.
Let's look at how a healthy safety culture works within an organisation. Our first stop is CAE Oxford Aviation Academy at Moorabbin, where they instil the principles of safety culture in their instructors and students right from the get-go.
We're very strong on building relationships from the start of a person's entering into the business, whether they're a student or an instructor. And the reason for that is we value very much fresh eyes coming into the business. And if we've got a strong relationship, those people are better able to provide us with information quickly about the safety culture of the business. Sometimes they might recognise something that is now no longer relevant, an SOP that's out of date, and that may need to be changed in order to strengthen safety.
Altitude will be limited. We'll probably give us a clearance for airways around 3,000 feet, so we can set that into airways clearance.
Encouraging your staff, students, instructors, whoever it might be, encouraging them to be able to come forward and be vulnerable and say, I made a mistake, I did this. And being able to do that with the head of your operations or anybody else, that's a really key, important part of a company.
It's not my achievement, this safety culture. It is the instructors who live it, who are out there and embracing it.
When students come forward and they do report something, we make sure that they're not punished. And also, as an instructor myself, if I've had an incident, I will be the first to report it.
It's collaboration of everything. The boss needs to be with it, and if he supports it, then you empower the bottom and they'll grow with you.
So the safety culture will determine that when the leader's not around, the people think, act and communicate in a way to maximise their survival. And that only makes great sense.
At the Toll and New South Wales Ambulance Rescue Helicopter Base Bankstown, they face some of the most challenging environments on a day-to-day basis. So a just culture sits at the core of their organisation, and it exists to ensure everyone returns home safely.
First and foremost, you want to get home every day. Everyone on board wants to get home, so trying to ram home that, nothing's more important than, for me, the 4 people I've got on board.
The heart of just culture allows anyone to report a problem or own up to a genuine mistake. The whole organisation must be involved, beginning with the people at the top.
I believe that safety culture is probably the single biggest driver for safety behaviour of people. And when you've got an extremely good safety culture, you'll find even people who've come into that culture will begin to adapt themselves to those behaviours. Yes, the CEO level, they need to be on board and they need to be supportive, but so do all those key people at all the multiple levels, all the strata of your organisation. Otherwise, there'll be a disconnect.
For all operators, the safety management system should be the tier 1 document for their business. Everything should fall out underneath the SMS. So when the challenges come around costs and that, rather than focusing just on margin when they're talking with the client, focus on talking about safety and the systems and bring them in and make them part of the story.
So one of the big things that we do here all the time is like, hey, you made a mistake.
Now, if there's nothing malevolent behind that, if there was no deliberate sort of maverick things going on, it was just part of you being a human being, then by me saying it, saying, hey, you made a mistake, we own our mistakes, we learn from it, we ask questions around it, we drive on. To me, that's one of the most powerful things you can do in a safety culture.
Our staff, whether it be engineers, pilots, crewmen, all feel very comfortable in reporting every incident, no matter how minor. They all also feel very comfortable putting forward suggestions about how we might improve what we do.
You can't just talk the talk, you've got to walk the walk with a just culture, because it can take a long time to create a true just culture in an organisation, but you can kill it pretty quickly, particularly if management aren't really focused on it and supportive of it.
It maintains a high standard. You know, there's nothing that's sort of swept under the carpet. You know, when you go into an aircraft, that if there was a previous unserviceability, then someone has reported it. And if there was a problem, then I have full confidence in the aircraft that I'm getting in from a maintenance as well as a piloting perspective.
The mistakes, emerge and they're no longer subterranean, and you can see them in your reporting system or just someone coming up and talking to you. Then you can actually manage them.
You must deal with the risk, and if that means stopping doing certain types of operations, or limiting the number of people who you can fly, or limiting payloads, or increasing pilot experience requirements, it's what you must do. So, rule number one for me in aviation management is to manage risk, and making sure you always do. You never walk away from it. You must deal with risk.
Your SMS system sets the foundation of your safety culture. If you nurture it, it's like your garden. If you look after it, it'll grow well. If you don't look after it, it'll fade away. The safety management system is the core fundamental process of any aviation system.
You might hold a meeting and say, well, last week we had this event, it was handled really, really well, the return was great, let's talk through how that happened. And then it starts to come out, the training was there, all the drills just happened like they should have, it was a clear day, there was no traffic, we could see what was going on, so we just returned, and that's why it worked. And tapping into that and saying, okay, so because that training and those drills are working really well, we're going to keep them in place. We're not going to say we don't need them anymore, because we do need them. That's why that event ended well. The chronic unease is very important, but I think also learning why did we do well in that area, and hanging on to the foundational stuff that meant that you did well is really crucial.
Here in the ACE facility, we've brought together all of the simulation technology to allow us to do far higher fidelity training, far more rigorous training. And I often say the ACE is designed, and the ACE program is around a holistic outcome. It's not the sum of parts, it's the holistic outcome we get for the crew that goes out on these helicopters. Are far better trained, they're standardised, they're more capable, they're more current than we've ever seen before.
I think one of the characteristics of a great safety culture is a culture that understands why things go right, because they go right a lot more than they go wrong. But what we don't do is investing in our understanding of what actually makes these things go right. But what we're seeing, and research is pretty much clear in showing this, is that stopping things from going wrong only gets you so far. But what we're increasingly understanding is that we need to recognize, identify, and then enhance the capacities in our people, in our operation, that make things go right.
In the unlikely chance of an emergency, please just listen out to my instructions and I'll inform you on what to do and where to go.
So, what does a safety culture look like in the outback? Wright's Air at William Creek is a great place for young pilots to rack up commercial hours. But the remoteness creates some unique dynamics.
We are a very, very quirky little business out here from the point of view that the business actually is in a remote area and everyone has to live in this area. Our nearest town is 200 kilometres away, and it's quite a drive. Everything around us is on dirt roads, and if it rains out here, apart from the aircraft, it can be a week or 2 weeks before you can get back in or out of the place.
Despite the tyranny of distance, a safety culture runs deep in the fabric of operations at Wright's Air, and just as it should, it starts at the top and filters all the way down.
There's no shame in saying that something's outside of your scope, and that's something I really respect about working here. I mean, everyone's familiar with the commercial pressures, and people pay a lot of money to go on flights and there's a lot of pressure to get it done. But when push comes to shove, Trevor and our whole team are very, very much aware that there's no shame in saying no, let's just sleep on it and we'll have a look at it tomorrow.
All clear! If we find that there is a situation where there's been an issue or a near miss, that we go back and we pull it to bits and we ask, how did this happen and how can we stop it from happening again? And everyone gets involved in it, the whole team. What we want to do is make people think, and that's what safety is all about, thinking about what you're doing before you do it. And if some incident does occur, you take it away and say, how can we stop this from happening again? Or how do we stop it from becoming bigger and turning into a life-threatening situation?
On any given day, an incident can occur, but the most important thing is how an organisation deals with it, even if it means the boss may need to invest in a new windsock.
Well, actually, one of the pilots came over to us and he said, had a bit of trouble today. I couldn't see the windsock. And I said, the windsock's out there. How can you miss the windsock? He said, well, it's not there. He said, I had to use a secondary yellow windsock to look at the wind direction and where we were going to land. I said, oh, yeah. I said, let's go over and have a look at it.
So this morning we had one of our planes coming in and has noticed that our primary windsock has gone. So whether they've wobbled themselves out sort of over time, a bit of play in the bolts there and just sort of as that windsock moves around. You can see the other ones are still firmly in there, but yeah, just not those ones.
So where do we go from here? We need to inform everyone that is using these windsocks that they need to check them. It's now up to the next level to make sure they have an outcome with it and to let the manufacturer know. What we have to do is now ring up local government authority and make sure that they have followed up with it, because if they haven't followed up with it, we may as well not have told anyone. Even though it's a very slim possibility that someone can get hurt, there is a possibility that they will get hurt. And if we can stop that from occurring, we've achieved something.
We talk these days about the concept of fatal risk or critical risk. What is going to kill somebody or leave them permanently disabled? What are your key risks around that? Know what they are and put in measures to protect your system against those risks.
Do the rolling takeoff with the goal of getting the thing motivated, all right? So just go all the way. Turn a little bit tight, run down the middle, that bit smoother.
Sea Air on the Gold Coast is also a great place for pilots to build up their skills and professional hours while learning the benefits of a good safety culture. CEO Peter Gash gives us some insights.
The most important element of a safe culture and a safe aviation business is the right people and the right culture, and it starts at the top. Going to a 1,200 metre long bitumen runway is a whole lot different to going to a 700 metre short dirt strip. That they do not go until you believe they're ready, and then you regularly check to see, because humans are humans and they'll evolve and develop their own ideas about how to do something.
If you keep it about a 10-degree angle of bank turn, until you get to about 030, it's given everyone a real nice look out that side.
It's all about the senior guys mentoring the junior guys to help them grow and expand on. You've got to invest in safety. You've got to invest time in it. You've got to invest aeroplanes in it. You've got to invest your crew in sitting down and being proactive with it. We have safety meetings now as part of our safety management system. We'll have our regular scheduled meetings, and then if there's anything else that'll come up, we'll have an unscheduled safety meeting and we'll deal with it as a team.
One of the hard things of the Lady Elliot is a full load with no wind. So they're the things you just got to be mindful of.
Give your team support. Let them know that you trust them. Let them know that you're there behind them and to support them. You're not out there in the bush, in that aeroplane on your own, that there's someone there on the end of the phone or on the end of the radio to help you if you've got a challenge. I didn't realise the advantage that it brought to my business until a few years into it, when I could see this is changing our standard, our culture, our philosophies on how we do things.
It's not just aircraft operators with a monopoly on safety. On the other side of the microphone, air traffic control have developed an alive and active learning culture.
So one of the key things we do in our system is that we have an open reporting culture and a very, very good self-reporting of incidents.
Everybody here will have had a situation where something's gone wrong, a mistake's been made, some more serious than others, but the bottom line is you report it. If it's required, we investigate what happened and we try and improve from it and try and learn from it.
What's really important to me is people feel comfortable enough to report anything that they think there may be an issue with. It's really important that I see a really good teamwork and that people are working with each other, that they're happy to challenge each other as well to improve general safety and efficiency.
Every time there is an incident or an occurrence of some sort, it is reported through our CIRIS system and it's followed up through the management and it's investigated. It's not a blame, it's what happened, what can we learn from it and how do we prevent it from happening again.
So QF32 wasn't successful because of me or my team necessarily, or even my airline. It's because of the culture in aviation to share information, accept people make mistakes. If that's the human condition, learn from it, build up the human factors so good people come together into perfect teams, and then we can truly be remarkable.